How do you shut this shit off? Oh, that's not out.
Ready, set, go!
Alright, so we're over at Pat's shop today, and I'm going to be installing the Wisefab kit. I already installed the right side off camera, just to get a feel for how to install this whole kit. But now I'm going to do the left side on camera to show you guys how to install it, and I'm going to kind of go over the steps. This is the non-FD legal kit for the S14 from Wisefab, so there is a little bit of drilling that you have to do, but it's not too bad, it's not too difficult. So yeah, we're gonna get started.
Unless you want me to put my music back on.
How do you shut this shit off? Oh, that's not out.
Yeah.
So obviously the first step to installing this kit is to remove your stock knuckles, control arms, sway bar, tension rod, and obviously the wheel.
You've got to dig deeper. She says she kinda likes me, but I've been broken before, so I don't believe her. I haven't even gotten to know you, and I'm barely giving you a chance. What will you do with my heart when it's in your hands? Why you want me to be a man, yo, I don't understand. Trying to ignore all these thoughts of me, but I really don't know what it is that you want from me. I'm just a broke kid that doesn't really know shit, but that was it, all you want is me. I don't know why it took me so long to see, so I'm giving you all of my love. Honestly, I fell in love with your psychology. Even when the weight of the world felt like it was on top of me, you were the one that could always take the weight off of me.
I'm still at your heart tonight. Take my hand and stand by my side. This story's written for you and I. Up in the stars, above the sky.
So obviously to run the Wisefab you need coilovers. To mount them up to the new top hats, you have to remove the stock top hat from the coilover. Most coilovers will have these sleeves in them. Make sure that you don't lose those because you need those. Thank you for the lighting. Alright, so the first part of the kit that you have to install are the new top hats. These are offset top hats, so these 3 bolts will bolt into your normal coilover location, but then there's a 4th bolt over here that you need to drill so you can bolt it up, and then you need to drill a hole for this right here, which is where your coilover will bolt up to, and in order for you to reach the adjustment knob.
Still at your heart tonight. You cannot run, you cannot hide. This story.
Once you get the 3 main bolts bolted down, there's going to be a 4th one right about here that you need to drill out. It's easier if you just match the hole up with the drill bit size and then drill it from the bottom.
Up in the stars, above the sky. Like, oh, oh, oh. Girl, I'm still at your heart tonight. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm still at your heart tonight.
Alright, next on the install are the lower control arms. They are identical. All that you need to worry about is that the L shape the open end is pointing that way. They're one piece, so there's no longer one tension rod and a control arm.
There's a reason I met you. This is what we're meant to do. You're probably thinking, how do I know? And to be honest, I don't. But you're the reason why I'm up at night, writing all these songs, because I want you in my life.
Alright, so something that I've figured out with installing this lower control arm, it's easier to put the bolt through the tension rod side, then put the control arm side, rather than the other way around. Because if you put the control arm side for some reason, it's a pain in the butt to get this to line up. Next up on the install after the control arms are going to be the offset steering rack spacers. It is very important that you Loctite not only this bolt, which bolts it to the rack, but also right in here, which is where the inner tie rod screws into. On the steering rack spacer, you'll see that it is slotted to fit a certain way on the steering rack arm. It will have a slight tilt upward and forward towards the front of the engine. It is important to have a 32mm wrench or an adjustable wrench that you can hold onto this as you tighten it, because you do not want this to twist like that while you're tightening it. That will cause damage to the steering rack, which obviously you do not want to do. You'll know that you have the key slotted in correctly when it just slides right on You could give it a couple love taps with maybe a rubber mallet or your fist, but you want to make sure that it slides all the way on. And as you can see, it's kind of tilted upward, and it's obviously pointed towards the front of the car. The bolt itself is a 14mm Allen wrench. Oh. All right, so once it starts getting a bit snug, you want to grab a wrench. The instruction booklet says 32 mil. You can use a adjustable just like this, and have the flat end pushing downward because obviously we're tightening to the right, and you want to just use some counter force so that way you don't twist your rack. Oh yeah, that's tight. All right. Next up are the inner tie rods. These inner tie rods, according to the manual, are Volkswagen Passat 2 inner tie rods, so you can purchase these at an AutoZone and in case you damage one. To further protect my steering rack, I'm going to be sliding over these Nissan Pathfinder steering rack boots just to protect the rack and also catch any oil that might be leaking out of my leaking steering rack. Just like the spacer bolt, you want to make sure that you Loctite the inner tie rod so it doesn't come loose on you. Typically you won't, but better safe than sorry. And again, when you're tightening the inner tie rod, you want to make sure that you hold the spacer with this wrench so that way you don't twist the steering rack and damage your steering rack.
Not just for a part of it, I want you here from start to finish. Back then, we were only kids, but I knew what I was feeling wasn't pretend. I knew what you were, and that was more than a friend. You were the smile behind every text that you sent.
All right, here's the Wisefab drop knuckle. It bolts up to the control arm with a bolt that goes right through here. And obviously, the knuckle bolts to the coilover through these bolts.
You're what kept me going from beginning to end. You made me see the greater things, no, I'll never forget. I made a promise to never leave you. That's something I can never do, cause I need you, I need you. They probably thought we were dumb, being so young, thinking with time we'd grow apart, but we grew together. Had it figured out, we knew it better. We can do it all, you and me and the rest of the team, ain't no obstacle too tall. I'm pouring out my heart and everything that I feel. Remember when I couldn't afford a meal? Now I'm doing all I can to pay you back. Damn.
So I'm still at your heart tonight. Take my hand and stand by my side.
Here's a little demonstration on how much angle you can actually get with the Wisefab angle kit.
This story's written for you and I. Up in the stars, above the sky. Yeah, I'm still at your heart tonight. You cannot run, you cannot hide. This story's written for you and I. Up in the stars, above the sky. Like girl, I'm still at your heart tonight. Yeah, I'm still at your heart tonight.
So there you have it. The Wisefab for the S14 is now in. Installation difficulty, I want to give it kind of an intermediate. If you know how to take apart the whole steering system, then you can put the Wisefab in. The hardest part really is drilling the holes for the offset strut mounts. But aside from that, it's mostly just a bolt-in process. So it's not too bad. You do get quite a bit of angle. According to Wisefab, you get about 60 to 65 degrees of steering angle. You can see here all the nice pretty blue Wisefab. You do not run the stock sway bar, and the control arm and the tension rod essentially become one piece. But yeah, you do get quite a bit of angle. Check that out. And the nice thing is you can see for the most part the tire is straight up and down, which is going to give you the most contact patch possible for the most grip possible, which is nice. With my old setup, I had to run about -7 degrees of camber just to achieve this at full lock. With this, I'm guessing it's maybe around -3 to -4 degrees. It's nowhere near as much negative camber. To achieve this, the whole front end is actually beefed up about 3 inches from stock. So that's going to be a slight problem with these fenders. I'll straighten the wheels out and show you guys in a second. Here's the other side. I did have to bash in right there because these wheels were rubbing right there when I would turn at full lock. That is partly due to the fact that these are just the wrong size wheels. Wisefab recommends a certain size wheel. The offset on these wheels are good enough to clear my coilovers, but they poke the wheels out way too much. And they're a very wide wheel. These are 9.5 inch wide wheels with 12 offset. I'm gonna either have to raise the car up a little bit to clear my fenders, or I'm just gonna have to shop around for new wheels. I'll take donations for wheels if you guys are feeling generous. But yeah, I gotta figure out a solution for these wheels. Here's the car on the ground with the wheels straight. Like I said, it's not nearly as much negative camber as I was running before, but the wheels are pushed out quite a bit more. Here's the other side. With my old setup, I was running a 20 mil spacer and I was still tucked inside of the fender. Now this is no spacer and I'm actually outside the fender. So that's some pretty Ryan Turk fitment there. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna try some different wheels, but we tried 35 offset wheels and they actually rubbed the coil over. So I'm gonna try a lower offset wheel that's actually skinnier, maybe at 8.5 or a 9-inch wide rather than a 9.5. That fitment is pretty wild. It's sticking out probably 1 inch, 2 inches out of the fenders, and these fenders are 30 millimeters wider than the stock fenders. So yeah, what I might end up doing is just raising the car up just a little bit more and maybe shaving here and here for when the steering wheel turns, because I don't want to destroy these fenders any more than I already have. And I really don't want to buy new ones because these ones are perfectly fine and they're getting painted. So I prefer not to buy new fenders if I don't need to. I'm just happy that the kit is on. Here's the old angle kit all boxed up, ready to ship to Ryan. Those will be out this week and hopefully, I'll definitely clean them up for him, but hopefully he can get this in and have some crazy angle like I had. And then eventually he'll work up to Wisefab. A small update, I picked up a wiring specialties harness specific for an LS swap to an S14. So all of this jungled mess of wires is gonna get cleaned up. It's gonna get tucked really nice. I just need the time and really the energy to install it. It's nice because it's gonna actually clean up all of the wiring inside the car as well underneath the dash. It's not too bad in there, but this is all just a mess. Ever since I switched to the car intake, this whole wiring harness just went crazy and I had to get adapters to go from the truck plugs to the LS1 car injectors, and the whole wiring harness is a mess and I don't like it right now. The intake is gonna stay relatively the same. I just gotta shorten this a little bit so that way it's not so pushed over, or I might change this elbow completely. The car is still in a base coat state. There's a couple spots that need to get sanded down and resprayed. It reacted to my filthy hands. So the whole car is gonna get resprayed once it starts getting a little bit warmer out. Recently installed some 1.5-inch wheel spacers in the rear to widen out the wheels a little bit to fill in these nice 50 millimeter Origin Type 2 over fenders. Because the tires are poking out a little bit more, we're gonna end up actually having to cut a little bit more out of this fender, because I feel right now when I'm on throttle and the car squats or I hit a bump, I'm afraid that the fender is gonna actually slice the tire, which I definitely do not want. So yeah, that's it guys. That's a little bit of an update on the car and showing you guys the installation of the Wisefab. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video and I hope you guys found it informational. There aren't really that many videos on YouTube of someone installing a Wisefab kit on the S14. So if you guys found this video helpful and informational, please drop a like. I really appreciate it. It helps me know that you guys are actually liking the video. After completing the first side, I was really drained of energy, and so this side was kind of a hassle as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
So I'm still at your heart tonight.